Welcome to this video on the inherited Iran crisis, specifically comparing the approaches of the Obama and Trump administrations toward Iran. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran has been a persistent and polarizing foreign policy challenge for the United States. From 2009 to 2021, the world observed two starkly different diplomatic strategies for dealing with Iran. President Obama favored multilateral diplomacy and incentives, or carrots, to integrate Iran into the international rules-based order. Conversely, President Trump labeled this diplomacy a disaster and implemented a maximum pressure strategy, using sanctions or sticks to financially cripple the regime. First, we will examine the Obama era from 2009 to 2017 and the path to diplomacy. In 2009, Obama extended an open hand in his inaugural address and recognized the Islamic Republic in his Nowruz message. However, this same year, disputed election results led to the massive internal protests of the Green Movement in Iran. The Nowruz message was a massive symbolic shift. In March 2009, Obama sent a direct video message to the Iranian people and leaders, recognizing the Islamic Republic by its official name for the first time. The Green Movement crisis erupted in June 2009. The internal protests forced the Obama administration to choose between supporting democratic aspirations or preserving the window for nuclear negotiations. Obama chose a cautious middle ground, prioritizing the nuclear door over actively supporting the protesters. Critics called this a betrayal of democracy, arguing that backing the protesters would have risked the chance for diplomacy. From 2010 to 2012, the Obama administration implemented a dual-track strategy. This included UN Resolution 1929 passing with Russian and Chinese support in 2010, heavy sanctions in 2011, and covert operations like Stuxnet in 2012. This dual-track approach ensured that diplomacy was not seen as weakness. This strategy was to offer talks, while simultaneously ramping up pressure to force Iran to the negotiation table. Behind the scenes, the U.S. and Israel launched Operation Olympic Games. They deployed the Stuxnet cyberworm to physically damage and destroy Iranian centrifuges at Natanz, severely setting back their nuclear program. Stuxnet marked the first time a cyberweapon was used to achieve physical military goals. This new frontier in warfare allowed for the destruction of infrastructure without firing a single shot. 2013 was a pivotal year. The moderate Hassan Rouhani was elected in June. September saw the historic phone call between Obama and Rouhani. And later that year, secret back-channel talks began in Muscat, Oman. The election of the moderate Hassan Rouhani was a turning point. His victory created a window for direct engagement, opening a diplomatic channel that had been closed for decades. The September 2013 phone call between Obama and Rouhani was the first direct contact between the heads of state of the U.S. and Iran since the 1979 revolution, marking a significant step toward détente. Secret talks in Muscat, led by Jake Sullivan and William Burns, bypassed traditional allies like Israel and Saudi Arabia. These meetings were designed to sketch out the framework for a comprehensive nuclear deal away from the public eye. The culmination of this period was the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, signed in Vienna on July 14, 2015. Sanctions were lifted in January 2016 as nuclear curbs began. The JCPOA was a multilateral agreement following years of negotiations in Geneva and Vienna. It involved the P5+1, which included the US, UK, France, Russia, China, and Germany, as well as the European Union. The core of the deal required Iran to cut its uranium stockpile by 98% and reduce the number of operating centrifuges by 2/3. Additionally, the Iraq reactor core was filled with concrete to prevent plutonium production. In exchange for these nuclear concessions, the US and UN lifted crippling oil and banking sanctions. This gave Iran access to frozen assets and allowed it to return to the global energy market. The deal's primary goal was to extend Iran's quote, breakout time, the time needed to produce enough material for one bomb, from 2 to 3 months to at least 1 year. Next, we will examine the Trump era from 2017 to 2021 and the maximum pressure campaign. In 2017, President Trump called the JCPOA the worst deal ever. In October, he decertified the deal, claiming it was not in the U.S. national interest, and began a full review of Iran policy. The influence of Benjamin Netanyahu was critical. He consistently argued that the deal was based on Iranian deception and failed to address Iran's regional aggression or missile program. In early 2018, Israeli intelligence stole a massive atomic archive from a warehouse in Tehran. Trump used this as proof that Iran had, quote, lied about its past nuclear ambitions, providing justification for withdrawal. The U.S. officially withdrew from the JCPOA on May 8, 2018. This was followed by the first wave of snapback sanctions in August, and sanctions on oil and banking returned in full force by November. President Trump officially withdrew the United States from the JCPOA on May 8, 2018. This occurred despite the IAEA confirming that Iran was in full compliance with the agreement's terms. The reimposition of sanctions targeted the heart of the Iranian economy, oil exports. The stated goal was to bring Iranian oil sales to zero, thereby crippling the regime's funding. Secondary sanctions warned international companies that they could do business with either Iran or the United States. Most global firms chose the U.S. market, leading to a massive exodus of investment from Iran. Escalation continued in 2019. The IRGC was designated a foreign terrorist organization. This was followed by the sabotage of oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz and Iran shooting down a U.S. Global Hawk drone. As the Iranian economy contracted significantly, Tehran began a strategy of, quote, counter-pressure. This included an estimated 6% GDP contraction and inflation hitting the Iranian middle class. Trump designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a foreign terrorist organization. This was the first time a branch of a sovereign military received such a designation by the U.S. In 2019, Iran was accused of sabotaging oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Tensions heightened as the U.S. increased its naval presence to protect global energy shipping lanes. In June 2019, Iran shot down a U.S. Global Hawk drone over the Persian Gulf. Trump reportedly canceled a retaliatory strike at the last minute to avoid a full-scale war, citing potential casualties. 2020 saw the assassination of Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Iran responded with missile strikes on the Al-Assad airbase and later announced it would no longer follow JCPOA limits. A U.S. drone strike killed General Soleimani, the commander of the Quds Force and architect of Iran's regional proxy network. His death was a massive blow to the regime's strategy. In the aftermath, Iran launched a ballistic missile strike on the Al-Assad airbase in Iraq. Dozens of U.S. troops suffered traumatic brain injuries, and the region braced for further escalation. Finally, we look ahead to 2025 and 2026 to discuss the future of this geopolitical fault line. A major debate is whether Obama's sanctions relief funded Iran's expansion of its proxies. Critics argue that the funds were used for regional aggression, while supporters say the deal prevented a nuclear Iran. In February 2025, a national security directive was signed to restore the maximum pressure campaign to its 2018 levels. This signaled a return to total economic isolation and zero oil exports. The fundamental disagreement remains. The Obama philosophy prioritized multilateralism, diplomatic engagement, and a nuclear-first focus. The Trump philosophy favored unilateralism, economic coercion, and comprehensive pressure. We can summarize the strategic milestones of both policies. The Obama strategy focused on multilateralism, building a global coalition. The dual-track approach offered diplomacy while maintaining pressure. The JCPOA extended Iran's nuclear breakout time in exchange for sanctions relief. The Trump strategy included withdrawal from the JCPOA, restoration of maximum pressure, and targeting Iran's revenue through zero oil exports. It also included the IRGC designation as a foreign terrorist organization. This concludes our video comparing the inherited Iran crisis policies of the Obama and Trump administrations.